City of Miami holding a meeting to discuss flooding concerns within the city. I'm Chris Warner with that story.
Plus, a Pittsburgh State photography exhibit showcases the events left behind at Auschwitz. And we go on a ride to a northeastern Oklahoma town for an annual tour.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The City of Miami, Oklahoma tonight hosted a town hall meeting to discuss flooding concerns in the city and hear from residents. This is KOAM News at 10. KOAM's Chris Warner was at that meeting and has more.
311 floods, 456 plaintiffs, one devastated region. The city of Miami has been hit with deluge after deluge of water, most recently in 2019 with a catastrophic flood in 2007. That's why folks like Rebecca Jim came to the town hall the city hosted.
It's vital for mental health, for their own security. They need to speak up. They need to let the federal agencies, the state agencies, understand that their lives matter, their property is important.
Mayor Bless Parker says the city invited representatives from the Grand River Dam Authority and the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to attend the meeting and listen to resident concerns.
Of course, we can't make anyone come, but we want everybody here because our citizens can get the right answers if both sides are here.
Neither agency sent a representative. Mayor Parker says they need GRDA to work with them to solve the problem.
When it comes to GRDA and the city, we need to be partners. We need to figure this out together for the citizens that are being affected. So the city's open. We're open to be partners. We need GRDA to come with us and let's be partners and do what's right for the citizens.
There's a series of suits and actions taking place to try and force a solution to the problem. One of the suits dates back to 2008, following the major flood we mentioned in 2007. That suit claims the GRDA's operation of the Pensacola project caused repetitive flooding for the area. Larry Bork is representing the 456 plaintiffs in that suit, looking to recover costs from the damage that flood left behind.
This case has about $50 million of damages just because it's such a larger case and it was a larger flood, so a broader area was flooded.
Bork says he's spoken with an individual who's an engineer who allegedly told the GRDA the Pensacola project was causing the flooding, but the GRDA pushed back, saying it wasn't possible. Bork says he feels the case against the GRDA is strong.
If you get GRDA and ask them the right question, they have to admit that there is significant flooding in the city of Miami that is caused by Pensacola project. And if they don't admit that, then you need to question where those answers are coming from.
In Miami, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
While representatives from GRDA were not at the meeting, they did provide this statement, quote, "The Grand River Dam Authority continues to operate Grand Lake in compliance with its operational license. The United States Army Corps of Engineers directs floodgate operations under the Federal Flood Control Act of 1944. While operating Grand Lake under this license and abiding by these laws, GRDA has a strong commitment to long-term solutions that benefit all parties, including our electric customers, the recreating public, and the people of Oklahoma." Authorities arrest a suspect following a Subway restaurant robbery. Police Tuesday responded to a report of an armed robbery at the Subway restaurant at Stone's Corner in Airport Drive. The suspect left the scene in a Chrysler 300. Wednesday afternoon, authorities in Mayes County, Oklahoma chased the car along I-44, then onto State Highway 20. During the chase, the suspect went into oncoming traffic, then stopped west of Pryor, Oklahoma, got out and ran. Authorities today say they arrested Taylor Yahola of Oklahoma City without incident in Joplin. They say the investigation is ongoing and additional people related to that robbery could be charged. Let's check in with Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it actually turned out to be a pretty decent Friday for us today. Of course, we had some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there during the morning hours, a lot of clouds, but we did get up to 84, 65 is where we started. Most of the evening hours have been pretty quiet, but we are seeing a few isolated little thunderstorms I want you to track in our far northeastern counties and then down through central Missouri. We're losing the heating of the day, so these are really going to fall apart over the next couple hours. But it's still warm, it's still muggy, sitting into the mid to upper 70s. We'll only drop back kind of in that 68 to 70 degree range. Heating up, 78 by 10, 86 by noon, 90 as we head into the afternoon. We do still have some thunderstorm chances this weekend, so we're going to break that down for you here in just a bit.
A limited series photograph exhibit showcasing the horrors of the Holocaust is on display at PSU. The Auschwitz KZ1 and 2 exhibit showcases photos that photographer Orion Henriksen took at what remains of the camp. The photographer put on the exhibit in part because eventually there won't be any survivors left to tell the stories. The university says it's still important to educate the public and the community in general on this horrific moment in history.
Not a lot of people that physically witnessed this themselves are alive to tell their story. And just because they're not here to tell us that story doesn't mean that it needs to just disappear.
The Auschwitz photography exhibit will remain at the Bicknell Family Center for the Arts at Pitt State through June 30th. Come and Go is about to leave some Joplin area stores for good. The convenience store chain is selling both its Webb City locations and 4 of its 6 Joplin locations to White Oak Station convenience stores. The company says the service locations no longer align with its long-term plans for expansion and continued store enhancement. The locations at 3434 South Rangeline and 5002 South Main will still remain as Come and Goes. If you're a lover of music, then you might want to take a trip to Big Brutus. The giant landmark in West Mineral, Kansas, is the host site for the Big Iron Overland Rally. The outdoor festival features food trucks, family activities, and, of course, the musical acts. The idea is to relax and leave the worries at home.
Stage, and there's 15 kids down there kicking a ball around and playing basketball and just having a great time. They didn't know who each other was until they got here. And that's what I love, that we get people out here and they just forget about the problems out there in the world and they enjoy life the way they should.
The event that began today continues until Sunday, 4 p.m. Ticket prices, they range from $25 to $135. Coming up, details about rallies starting tomorrow in favor of gun legislation. And later, we're going to take a look at a bicycle tour that goes across the state of Oklahoma. Gun control activists are preparing to rally all across the country tomorrow, hoping to pressure Washington to enact new legislation. Reporter Serena Marshall is in the nation's capital with details on the optimism around the Senate's negotiations.
There were 2 separate mall shootings Friday afternoon. 4 people were wounded in North Carolina and 3 people were struck in Maryland.
Teenagers are afraid to go to the mall.
The constant barrage of shootings, including last month's school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, and the racist massacre at a Buffalo supermarket, has activists rallying in Washington for new gun control legislation. Chris Brown is the president of the Brady campaign. Are you confident that Congress can actually get something done this time?
I am confident that members of Congress, seeing the carnage in Buffalo, seeing Uvalde, are assembling the most bipartisan group to tackle this issue that I have seen, honestly, in 30 years.
A bipartisan group of senators are working on a narrow piece of legislation that they hope can pass both chambers. Connecticut Democrat Chris Murphy believes they will have a compromise soon.
I'm not interested in doing something unless that something is going to save lives.
On Saturday, more than 450 demonstrations will take place across the country. 50,000 people are expected at the Washington Monument for the second March for Our Lives rally.
If we just stop one more Parkland or one more shooting, it's worth it.
Co-founder David Hogg says he feels the movement has become more inclusive.
There are gun owners that are with us. There are Republicans that are with us.
The first March for Our Lives rally happened in 2018 after a shooting at Hogg's school in Parkland, Florida, where 17 people died. Serena Marshall, CBS News, Washington.
The House of Representatives passed sweeping gun legislation earlier this week, with some Republicans voting in favor of the bill, but it doesn't have the votes to beat a Republican filibuster in the Senate. If your signal of KOAM or Fox 14 becomes kind of glitchy next week, that is actually a sign of progress. We're going to be broadcasting from a lower temporary antenna while a crew installs a new, more technically advanced antenna at the top of our tower. It's the final step in our More Power project. This will allow some viewers who previously lost our signal to get us once again. If it all goes according to plan, then we're going to be back up and stronger than ever by the end of June. Later, an inside look at an annual bike trip across Oklahoma.
Plus, the temperatures are heating up over the next few days, but still some thunderstorms. I'm going to break it down coming up. Well, we had some scattered thunderstorms out there during the morning hours, but the afternoon actually turned out pretty good. Mid-80s, partly cloudy skies, but the heat really kicks in over the next couple days. Plus, we're going to get the humidity. We still have some thunderstorms on the forecast, but the overall forecast over the next week is a drier trend. If you want my long-range forecast based off the heady pattern, go to my month-long blog, KOAM. newsnow.com. All right, looks good. It's Friday night. Indigo sky. Get out, enjoy it. Parking lot filling up. We have partly cloudy skies. Temperatures are still warm, mainly mid to upper 70s across the region. I think we'll only drop back 68 to about 70 a little bit later on tonight. Sitting at 78, humidity is a little high, maybe a little patchy fog in spots as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Not too much going on for most of us after the morning storms, but we do have some isolated little guys that have popped up in our very far northeastern counties, one just south of Kansas City, Clinton, and then we can track over toward Truman Lake, Lake of the Ozarks, just north of Springfield. So a very slight chance our Missouri counties could get an isolated thunderstorm over the next hour or so. Besides that, we look pretty good. Big dome of high pressure out to the west, that's going to help us heat up over the next couple days. High pressure in the summer means heat and humidity. It keeps the storm track well to the north. It kind of blocks up the pattern, so all the severe weather goes to the northern plains. Every now and then we get a little wave that rotates around it, kind of like what we've seen over the past week, but in general, it just keeps us hot and humid. We do still have some thunderstorm chances over the weekend. Most of us look good tonight. All right, let's go through Saturday. 90 to about 92. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. We're going to start at 68, 85 by noon, high of 90, south winds 5 to 10. Then we're going to focus our attention up north. Here comes an MCS. An MCS is a big complex of storms, kind of like what we've had on and off this week. We need to see how far east this dives and where that western edge is, because there is a pretty good shot. Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, down toward Lamar could get some of these storms in here tomorrow night, especially late tomorrow night after 10, midnight, into early Sunday morning. Then they should be gone. I think the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, your chances for any storms tomorrow night, much, much lower. By Sunday, we could get a few isolated little guys that skirt through, especially in our northern counties. But look at the temps. These are actual temps, mid-90s. Now you factor in the humidity, it gets a little bit worse. Heat indices 98 to about 100, maybe 102 tomorrow afternoon. Sunday, it gets a little bit worse. Heat indices about 105, maybe 107 in spots. So if you are going to be outside, make sure you drink plenty of fluids. All right, 90 tomorrow, 93 Sunday, 94 on Monday, sitting into the lower 90s all of next week. Heat indices, you can pretty much bet each and every day, will be above 100 degrees. It's summertime.
I thought you were going with sweltering.
It is sweltering.
Simmering. Too hot, that's what it is. Thanks, Doug. Four staters got out tonight to hear some loud noises and see some wrecks. Miami, Oklahoma hosted the Reilly Auto Parts Outlaw Nationals Monster Truck Show. The two-day event showcases some of the country's top monster trucks in racing, wheelie contests, and freestyle events. Look at that. On display was a 36,000 horsepower triple jet engine called the Shockwave. The event runs till 10:30 tonight, again tomorrow from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. Hundreds of bicyclists today visited Grove, Oklahoma as a part of an annual trip. The 43rd edition of Oklahoma Freewheel is going on, and KOAM photojournalist Ty Parks went along for the ride.
Oklahoma Freewheel, we're a cross-state bicycle tour of Oklahoma. We've been going on since 1979.
Not pedaling.
just a bunch of people from all over the country, actually all over. We have Canadians with us. We have 26 different states represented, and just riding their bikes across Oklahoma, seeing some of the smaller towns, seeing the sights that you see on a bicycle when you go slow.
Good exercise, and you get to meet all kinds of people, and it's a lot of fun sitting around camp talking to people about what you did on your ride during the day and what you ate. You remember what you ate probably more than anything else at each town. It kind of keeps you going. It's quite a challenge, because there's nothing better. It's like that feeling when you make it.
I think you go until you don't think you can do it, and then you push past that, and it's like, oh, I can't, I'm doing it. I still don't think I can do it while I'm doing it, and it's happening. It's like, it's an out of body kind of experience. It's really emotional and spiritual and physical. It's all of everything combined.
The route for the event changes every year, but typically it begins near the Red River and ends just across the Kansas state line. Still ahead, the Joplin Outlaws aim for back-to-back wins on the road, and local athletes get the chance to sit and hit the field with NFL star Tyreek Hill. Jacob Leonard has that story and a lot more up next.
Local youth football players get the chance to learn from an NFL player this afternoon in Joplin. And Dolphins wide receiver and former Kansas City Chief Tyreek Hill hosts a football camp today at Joplin High School. Our own Danny Terzer has more.
Y'all ready?
Today is a day these kids will never forget.
He was my favorite player, like a role model and everything.
My mom's a Chiefs fan, my whole family's Chiefs fans. It's pretty great to see him.
Former Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill is in Joplin today hosting a one-day youth camp.
Any chance I can, come out, be a spotlight in a kid's life, push the game forward. I'm always about it.
Hill was traded to the Dolphins this offseason after spending the first 6 seasons of his career in Kansas City.
I'm a retired Chief, baby, no matter what, because they're the only team that believed in me when nobody else believed in me.
Hill says the community and fans in Kansas and Missouri will always be special to him.
Coming back here, it's like home for me. I got drafted here. I feel like I became a man here, so it feels great. I'm always gonna always come back and give back to the community of Kansas City.
Hill is already fulfilling that promise.
I need y'all to be good listeners. I need y'all to compete. I need y'all to give everything that y'all got today. Can y'all do that for me?
The camp consists of lectures, contests, and a chance for these local athletes to learn from their favorite NFL player.
It's pretty awesome. He dabbed me up and everything. It was cool. I'm loving it here.
I just want to see the game continue to evolve. So that's why I'm here, to teach these kids about being competitive, teach these kids about, speed and stuff like that. So you can have all the talent in the world, but a good listener is always a winner in my book, So just being coachable, listening to small details and just adding it to your game, because I feel like anybody can play football. All you got to do is just put your mind to it.
In Joplin, Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
Today's camp was the third of 4 camps for Tyreek Hill in the 4-state area. The final camp is scheduled for Sunday in Columbia, Missouri. On Neosho, Missouri will host Rumble in the Heartland tomorrow, featuring pro boxing and MMA. Undefeated heavyweight Jeremiah Milton is on the card tomorrow night, fighting Carnell Giles. Now, the Tulsa product, who is signed with promoter Tony Holden, is actually a former defensive end for Northeastern State football in the MIAA. And Milton, an up-and-coming heavyweight prospect with a perfect 4-0 record, facing Giles, who is also unbeaten at 2-0.
Every fight is my biggest fight, so as we step up, that's just part of the game. My game plan is just be myself. There's just levels to this, man, and honestly, I've been with the best, I've been working with the best, so I just got to do what I naturally do. Not too much on his part that's going to be brand new to me.
The Joplin Outlaws have played 6 games so far this summer. The Outlaws are an even 3-3 in those 6 after last night's road win over the Sedalia Bombers. Now tonight, Joplin on the road again, aiming for back-to-back wins, this time facing the Chillicothe Mudcats. That game is actually still going. Joplin is down 11-6 right now in the bottom of the 6th. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Frankie Orem Jr. served in the U.S. Army in 1969 and 1970. His hometown, Cherryvale, Kansas, and we are proud to salute Frankie Orem Jr., a four-state hero. Fans of the Scooby-Doo series have a chance to embrace their inner Shaggy or Velma. Airbnb has 3 overnight stays along the coast of Southern California in the recreation of the Mystery Machine, which of course is the van used by the cartoon characters as they foiled mysteries. This special offer is a tie-in with the 20th anniversary of the live-action film Scooby-Doo. Matthew Lillard, who played Shaggy in the movie, he's hosting the stays, which are scheduled for June 24th, 25th, and 26th. Those who book a one-night stay will get lots of perks, including a late-night viewing of the film, oh boy, complete with all-you-can-eat snacks, oh boy, and other throwbacks to 2002, including the latest Sugar Ray album. Does that look like any fun at all?
Doesn't do it for me.
Oh, well, it'll make some money for, I guess,
somebody.
Yeah. All right.
Somebody will do it.
It's going to be hot tomorrow, Doug.
It is. We climb right around 90 to 92. Heat indices pushing 100. 93 on Sunday. Heat indices about 105. We do need to watch for a complex of storms tomorrow night, so I'll keep my eyes on that. But most of tomorrow looks pretty good.
Final sports note.
NBA Finals. Always been a good series the whole way through. Now it gets interesting. 2-2 heading into Game 5 at Golden State.
The Celtics just blew it.
Yeah, they got outscored like 15-3 in the last 4 minutes. It's how you blow it.
It becomes a 5-game series now. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with more video of tonight's monster truck rally in Miami. Let's make it a great night.